there is a very, very passionate opinion here on the show that we have to address, right? I mean, like Tom Fernelli, Bud Elliott, is there anywhere we want to go other than what this means for Illinois? Or do we want to go what it means for Scott Frost first? And honestly, I feel like the decision needs to be Tom's, right? Bud, will you say that Tom gets his choice of which way he wants to take this?
I mean, I know I want to take it. I think it's the same place Tom wants to take it.
I think we got to start with Scott Frost.
Okay.
I mean, is he fired yet?
Not yet.
I would not fire him yet.
No, I would not fire him yet. But he got his ass out coached.
Yeah.
Brandon Peters went down. We had Art Sitkowski. Like, Brandon Peters went down so early that we had enough time to readjust. And because we didn't have a lot of college football games going on, it wasn't like we were distracted by anything else. But the idea that Art Sitkowski entered the game and beat you the way he did, the fact that he put together a 14-play, 75-yard drive to start the third quarter on your defense, like you had halftime to adjust. And it's not like Art Sitkowski, based on everything he did at Rutgers, provides this blueprint of like, oh, goodness, well, we weren't prepared for that. He does so many things different that are good that the other quarterback, Brandon Peters, does. Like, there's nothing there. I don't know.
I will admit, I mean, this is a podcast that hasn't been that kind to Art Sitkowski over the years.
No.
And when Brandon Peters went down and I realized it was his shoulder right away and he was done, and I knew Sitkowski was the backup, I was in a very good mood at that point because things were going well for Illinois. But then it was like, oh, all right, well, season's already screwed. We're done. Art Sitkowski's coming in, and now we're going to have to be in that familiar position, kind of like they were last year when Brandon Peters got COVID, and the year before that when they went to their backup QB, where they don't really have the quarterback depth that you need. And Sitkowski comes in the first 8 plays of the game. Bielema's got him handing off to a running back. His first 8 snaps are all handoff.
Oh, his one pass was a sack.
Yeah, they did go for one pass and he got sacked. But other than that, he threw that one interception on his first actual pass, but it came back because of a penalty. But then he just kind of settled in, and he didn't play terrific, but he played very well. He was 12 for 15, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I can't say he outplayed Adrian Martinez, because Adrian Martinez made a lot of big plays for Nebraska because they had nobody else doing it. But he didn't make the mistakes that cost his team the game that Adrian Martinez did.
Man, where to go with this? So you still have to go get your ass spanked by Oklahoma, right? Like, there's no way I'm firing Scott Frost. Yeah. Like, I as an AD, I want a clean slate when I fire Scott Frost. So I want Scott Frost to take all these L's coming up, and then I can use that NCAA investigation that I think I'll have wrapped up, maybe by Thanksgiving. Maybe Halloween, who knows? And then I'll go ahead and drop the hammer there. It is inexcusable to lose a game to Art Sitkowski. I have Illinois over 3.5 wins this year, right? With just like Tom does, and I don't feel good about it. Like, if Brandon Peters is out for a long period of time, I really don't like. Even though we just stole a win there in my mind, I don't think Art Sitkowski's good. And Illinois, to their credit, got not even passable. Good play out of him today. I mean, he hit the open guy. He was able to, to kind of go through his reads. I know some of it was off play action. A lot of it was off play action. That's fair. But why in year 4 for Scott Frost, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Why in year 4 is Scott Frost Nebraska team not ahead of a team that I think we all agree Lovie Smith, maybe not terrible, but just didn't do a great job with at Illinois? Like, why are they not ahead of them? Now, I think that speaks to Scott Frost, right? Like, he has not done a good job of recruiting the right players, developing them. And then in the case with many of their best and most highly rated recruits, he has not retained them. Brendan Marcello had a really good piece on this on 24/7 Sports that we talked about in a brainstorm meeting a couple weeks back, and I was really happy to see it pop up yesterday morning. I mean, dude, a number of their 4-stars that he signed early in that tenure, they ain't there. Like, Nebraska does not have the players that Scott Frost signed because he didn't keep them around. He didn't get the right guys, and I think his time there is up, assuming they can find a way to get around that buyout. Because if they can't, we may be talking about Scott Frost week 1 next year.
The other thing the problem that I think Nebraska has right now is all those things you mentioned are 100% true, but there's also just the fact they're a poorly coached team.
Yeah.
Like, and Chip, we talked about it a little bit this morning on HQ when we were previewing the game. Like, Nebraska consistently makes mistakes at like the absolute worst times. And if it happens once in a while, fine. If it's just a player error, fine. But time and time again, they're either turning the ball over or committing a terrible penalty, like the interception that they had on Sikowski, pulled back by a penalty. Late in the first half, while they still have the lead, Adrian Martinez fumbles in the pocket. Illinois scoops and scores in the very final minute of the half. And then, as you mentioned, they go into halftime. They have the chance to adjust. They come out in the second half and immediately give up a very long touchdown drive to the Illini that pretty much, I mean, Nebraska comes back.
That was the game. That was it.
And then in the fourth quarter, they're down 2 scores late. They're putting together a drive that they're going to make it a 1-score game. And there's a snap that goes over Martinez's head for a 16-yard loss. Thankfully for Nebraska, he makes up for it on the very next play by scrambling for a first down. But then you're under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, down 2 scores, and they're taking like half the play clock to run each play. Like, they're sitting there doing the thing where it's like, oh, got to check the sideline for the signals. Like, you should be in a hurry up. What the hell are you doing? You're down 2 scores. And I mean, it's a consistent thing that there's really, you look for the reason to be optimistic. Like, you look for a silver lining if you're a Nebraska fan and say, okay, well, that's the one thing that we have that at least gives me reason to think that this is going to get better. What is that?